Okay, so we now move not so far from Vrindavan, actually to the, I think the opposite side of Vrindavan, not too far. I think he's in Radhe Kunj at the moment, who is a devotee that met, or Krishna Karunya Prabhu met, or the devotees in 1989 in the Philippines when he was 18 years old. And in 1997, he met or got hooked onto Srila Gurudev's Harikatha. And in 1998, Srila Gurudev came to the Philippines for the first time, and that's where he met Srila Gurudev. And on Jiva Goswami's appearance day in 2000, he took Harinam and Diksha. And Krishna Karunya Prabhu is someone that's been serving in Gurudev's publications for many years, and I've personally spent some time with him, and he's just so wonderful, and he's so always willing to help when you need some sort of service, and he's always really engaging, and his Harikatha is as beautiful. You can see that the engagement of his service has led to such abilities to be able to actually glorify Srila Gurudev through the books and banis of Srila Gurudev. So with great pleasure and honor, I would like to invite our next guest, Krishna Karunya Prabhu, to join us and in glorifying Srila Gurudev. Dandavat pranams.
Dandavat pranams. You can hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, nice. So I'll start?
Yes, please.
Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuveva Patitanam Pavanivyo Vaishnavivyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Pranams unto the lotus feet of our most worshipful Srila Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Gosvami, Srila Guru Maharaj, to our Rupanuga Guru Varga, and to all the assembled devotees, my worshipable seniors who are listening right now. I hope the reception is okay. I'm just using one phone. I'm not so used to this Zoom. So I'm borrowing someone's program and someone's account. So hopefully the line will be okay. So Srila Gurudev, everybody knows, we have our own like special time and relationship with Srila Gurudev. And this actually he opened for everyone. When he gives Diksha, we know Diksha is the time when Guru gives Divya Gyan. And we know Divya Gyan really is what? Sambandha Gyan, relationship. So before we can even have relationship with Krishna, then Guru gives all this relationship to himself and to the family of like his own family. So now I cannot really separate glorifying Srila Gurudev from glorifying his family. And therefore, I cannot, it will be difficult for me to separate like Gurudev glorifying just Gurudev, because this is Gurudev's glory. He's part of this very glorious family. And we talk about his family, we're talking about this family of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, anyone who has in contact with Srila Gurudev, they know the speciality of Mahaprabhu's family. So one thing is, when I first, it has been introduced. Before I was an activist, you know, like a communist, like activist, and we used to meet with all the other like activists in one university, and on the way I always pass by this like place where there's kirtan. But I know already because I've read something from Swami Prabhupada's books, but I cannot imagine myself becoming like one of those people, shaved head and, you know, chanting all this like on the streets. So, but anyhow, I met like the devotees, and to make the story short, then I started like chanting. But really it was only when I I've read like Srila Gurudev's books that I feel like there's so much like special flavor in his Harikatha. And therefore, although that community, although I'm very appreciative of that community where I was, I was first introduced to Krishna consciousness, and that was not ISKCON, by the way. It's another community of also actually Swami Prabhupada's disciple. Although I'm very appreciative, but they have this mood of kind of like sectarian and like type of overprotective to the disciples, So at that time, they would discourage like students from reading other gurus' books. But I'm always like very liberal. So I like to read, like books of other acharyas. So like Srila Bhakti Rakshak Gosvami Maharaj, not just Prabhupada's books, but like Bhakti Rakshak Goswami Maharaj. And then I met Srila Gurudev's books. And I feel like, oh, this very, very special flavor. And we all know, I know we have experienced this. We all have experienced this. We know how Srila Gurudev is Brijbasi. I always hear many times from many of my God brothers, God sisters, that just like a tiger, you can bring out of the forest, but you cannot bring out the forest from the tiger. So Gurudev is Brijbasi. Now he may be outside of Braj externally, but you cannot get out from him as being a Brijbasi. His mood is always there. We know, we've experienced this. And so this you can see by the way he speaks and like the special insights that he tried to explain a certain, even a simple like philosophical like shloka. It has always this Braj flavor. So, and I know like even little kids, even little kids, you can ask them, what do you want to be? Like this, do you want to be in Vaikuntha? Like this? What to speak of going to heaven? They don't even want to go to Vaikuntha. They don't want to go to Ayodhya, like this. They only want, and this is because of Gurudev's influence, that they only want to become a servant of Srimati Radharani. So when I say Brijbasi, I'm not talking about just, and Gurudev will always explain this, there's so many monkeys in Braj, and so you may say, oh, they're Brijbasi, like this. But real Brijbasi meaning like those who are the eternal residents of Vrindavan, like the Gopas, the Gopis, Mother Yasoda, and Nanda Baba. So Gurudev is from that world. And so one time I remember he was in Philippines. We had this visitor, some mother, a Christian mother, and Gurudev asked him, what's the meaning of Guru? And he said, Guru is a spiritual teacher, like this. And Gurudev said, actually, more than just that. Then Gurudev, he was just looking at her reaction. Then I remember Gurudev, and that lady, I remember she offered like folded hands. She folded her hands. And Gurudev said, oh, what's the meaning of that when you fold your hands? And he said, and she said like, yeah, like offering respect, like prayer. And Gurudev said, yes, it's like one hand is the jiva or the atma, and the other hand is the paramatma. So this is like our prayer that we become united. So you put your hands both together. I said, this is principle of bhakti yoga, union with God. So Gurudev, like, he's explaining in a simple detail, but then he just says that, oh, but Guru, he can teach you this science of love, this science of bhakti yoga, where he can teach you how to be united with God in love, that your love becomes so great that God, the controller, becomes even controlled by your love. Then he started speaking about Mother Yasoda, like binding Krishna, like this. So this is one special flavor we know of Srila Gurudev. And in our experience in the mat, we live with Srila Gurudev. This is my fortune that I have this opportunity to stay with him and somehow serve with him. Gurudev sometimes would call us and he would ask, "Are you learning shlokas?" Now, I know this is one part of like one of the tradition. And this is not just like, oh, Gurudev wanting us to become like scholars. No, this is actually, he's making us have this relationship. Because if you have relationship with Krishna, then like anyone, you know, they're into all this, all different ways of social media like this. And they're sharing what their friend is telling. They're showing all these pictures. So Brijbasis, they like to share, all these things in Braj. And that's what Gurudev is doing. He can only speak about like Harikatha. And all these verses that gives you a very nice image of what is that world about. So Gurudev, one time in his room, because every morning that is my seva, I clean his room. He goes morning walk. That time when we know Vaishnavas would tell us that, like in Astakaya Lila, in the morning time, Radha with all her manjaris would go to Nandagaon to cook for Krishna. So it's around that time Gurudev would do his morning walk. I know he would be absorbed in that pastime. So while he's doing his morning walk in the park, and then that is my seva, I'm cleaning his room, his bathroom, like this. So then one time he came back and he was asking me, how many shlokas you learned? I'm very new at the time. And like I said, I don't know, maybe like 20. And Gurudev was laughing, only 20. Should learn like 500, more than 500,000 like this. So then he started asking me, like, what is the shloka that you can show that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan? And I just black out. Then you know this verse that now I can't even remember this Krishna Bhagavan Swayam, you know, in Rasamrita. There he was telling like, okay, tell me a shloka that in just one shloka you can tell what is the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then again I black out. Then Gurudev explained, you should learn this. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesa Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kache Upasana Brajavadu Valgenaya Kapita. This verse. And really, this is one of the things we have to appreciate from Srila Gurudev. You know, when Srila Gurudev welcomes us in this family, there is very specific, like, and he's very consistent, like for all his children to understand really what is this family of Mahaprabhu all about. It's not just enough. Of course, this is our process. Oh, we do kirtan, we do harinam, we're chanting our japa. But Gurudev is very consistent. We have to understand, like, really, what is the speciality? What is the gift that this family is giving? And so he would ask sometimes. I remember. I think everyone knows this. During the time of Prabhupada, like he would make the devotees glorify Srila Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada. He's asking them, Gauravani, because he says Gauravani Pracharini. So what is Gauravani? So this is one of the things that, and really this is what Gurudev's teaching is all about, Gauravani. Because we're Gaudiya, we're followers of Mahaprabhu. And so he wants us to understand what is Gauravani. And then of course, any of his disciples, they will know. This Gauravani is that which Mahaprabhu taught, and this is embodied in his Shikshastakam. This is the teachings he taught to Rupa Goswami in Rupa Shiksha. This is the teachings he taught to Sanatan Goswami in Sanatan Shiksha. You can read all about this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And there's his teachings, or these teachings you can learn from reading Rainamanda Sambad. is all about Prayojan. His teaching to Rupa is all about Avideya, to Sanatana Goswami, all about Sambandha, like this. And that Mahaprabhu, he ordered to his preachers like Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha, worship Krishna, and like chant his names. So, and especially, yeah, I've mentioned like Shikshastakam. So Gurudev at one point he was telling, what is this Gauravani? And but our Guru Varga already had written like a shloka that kind of like summarize this. So just in one shlok, then you can explain this. And that's what Gurudev was asking me, which shlok. And so then he would recommend this. He would actually be very happy if someone asked, if Gurudev would ask, and I've seen this, if Gurudev asked, what is the teachings of Mahaprabhu? And if you go explain like this, and not so, like not very clear, he won't be very satisfied. But you just say the verse, Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajet, and explain from that, then he, yes, then he's very happy. Because here it's very clear, Aradhyo Bhagavan, our worshipable deity is who? This Krishna, who is son of Nanda. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajet Tanayas, the son of the king of Braj. Not the one from Mathura. Oh, not this Mahavishnu, not the Narayan in Vaikuntha, like this. Then Tadham Vrindavanam. Oh, and his abode is Vrindavan. Like this. Not Mathura, Dwarka, and others. And then Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. And so he said, you're talking, he's our worshipable Lord. So what is the best way of worship? So then, like the gopis worship him, that type of love. That is the best worship. Prajavadu Vargena Ya Kalpita. And then, where's the evidence of this? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam. The pure evidence of this is Srimad Bhagavatam. And really, that is our teaching. Our teaching is mostly from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam, Prem Pumartha Mohan. And Prem is the ultimate wealth, the ultimate goal of human life. Prem Pumartha Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradaruna Parha. This is the teachings, and this is like directly the opinion of Mahaprabhu. I don't care for anybody's opinion. Like this. So that's one. And of course, our Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also wrote the same way in this Dasamul Shiksha. So Gurudev would be very happy. And he wants us to know this. So I'm just mentioning this because I'm trying to show appreciation how Srila Gurudev is ultimately making us enter to that mood of that family of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when we say Gurudev giving Diksha, giving Divya Gyan, giving Sambandha Gyan, so what is that? This conception based on this particular relationship. This relationship based on this conception. Like whose conception? Like Mahaprabhu's conception. And of course, when we talk about Mahaprabhu, then this is what we learn from Srila Gurudev. That, and by the way, this one is Srila Gurudev made us learn. But of course, we know this is what he has learned from his Gurudev also, and his Gurudev from his Param Gurudev. And so this is learned by family. This is the teachings in this family. So that's why I said I cannot separate Gurudev from his family. So ultimately, these teachings lead to Rupa Goswami. And we know how Srila Gurudev makes so much effort for us to have relationship with Srila Rupa Goswami. Every year in Vrindavan, he would initiate this festival. This Rupa Goswami festival during the swing festival time in summer. And this is one speciality of Srila Gurudev. Like really, who is doing this in Braj? And Gurudev not only opening this festival within his own association, in his own institution. This is actually in whole Braj. is inviting like very big scholars also, even from other sampradaya. And in this way, they are, because sometimes they have some different conception of Rupa Goswami. So Gurudev would let them, and mostly they see Rupa Goswami, oh, great scholar, he's writing all these things. But then when they come, they would glorify Rupa Goswami. Some misconceptions they have, Gurudev would correct, but Gurudev would correct in a very very clever way. So every year this is happening, and I'm sure many of us like witnessed there. We've joined this festival. So Srila Gurudev, he's like really, he's like our Goswamis. The Goswamis, they're direct fulfiller of Mahaprabhu's desire. We know, like Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam, Stapitam, Yena Bhutale. In this world, he has established the innermost desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How is that? With all the other Goswamis, what did they do? Oh, they produce all these literatures on bhakti, not just on bhakti rasa. At the time of Mahaprabhu, nobody knows really. It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that at the time of Mahaprabhu, the whole world forgets about like Radha and Krishna's pastimes. So now Mahaprabhu wants to revive that. All these talks about Radha and Krishna. Because even in Vrindavan is a forest. At that time, even those people in Vrindavan, they don't even know that this is Vrindavan. This is the place of Krishna's pastimes. So Mahaprabhu now, he wants this to be again like revived. So that's what our Goswamis did. They discovered all these pastime places of Shri Radha and Krishna. Then second, they wrote about all these like special pastimes of Shri Radha and Krishna. And especially, they discuss about this Bhakti Rasa. When we talk about Bhakti Rasa, we're talking about these moods of love. Rupa Goswami, he's the person who's brought this in a very scientific discussion. All this Bhakti Rasa, ultimately showing the superiority of the love of the gopis. And then, and how to develop this relationship with Krishna? Establish deities. And fourth, to follow, to teach about Vaishnava etiquette. Because when we say, we want to be like, we're following Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous love, no need to follow rules and regulations. But Mahaprabhu wants this taught also. So I see that what the Goswamis have done, now we are reaping the result of what the Goswamis have done. Now we come to Vrindavan, there's more than 5,000 temples in Vrindavan. Like even little kids, they know the name of, where's the Seva Kunj? At that time, nobody knows. But at that point, nobody knows. So now we see Srila Gurudev is continuing this. Srila Gurudev and this family of Mahaprabhu is continuing this mission. Like in your country now, who knows about Radha and Krishna? There's no talks about Radha and Krishna. But by mercy of the family of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Gurudev going there, and then this talks of Radha and Krishna become established like this. So Srila Gurudev, one thing is he has written very important books. Like we cannot pay. We always remain indebted to Srila Gurudev for translating Jaiva Dharma, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, the books of Vishwanath Thakur, books of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Actually, if you look at the list of Srila Gurudev's books, like so many, more than 80 titles. Actually, first he writing in Hindi. Before Srila Gurudev, these books mostly, these books are there, but they're in Bengali. What to speak of English? They're not even in Hindi. So now Gurudev has made it so that this has to be like translated. And actually, Gurudev also is saving us from having to go to have some connection with some, because sometimes some of these books are within the possession of some sahajiyas. So then Srila Gurudeva is trying to protect this generation, future generations, from having to have connection with like sahajiya groups, and like having proper understanding of all these books. So he's writing commentaries. So therefore Gurudev, he spent, when I've seen Gurudev spend so much time. Sometimes in Rishikesh, I've seen when he was in Bangalore, in some programs, even having programs, he continues to do his writing. And when we know, like in Philippines, he would stay many days writing. In Hawaii, and Gurudev like considered this book publication like one of his very important seva. And this is my fortune to be part of like, helping in this way. I'm not translator, I'm not editor. I'm actually like foolish, but I know something with computers, so that's my seva I'm doing. But just by doing this, I've seen, oh, this very good service, Gurudev very happy. One time when I brought, and this is one of my like like special time when I bring a book, or when we offer a book to Srila Gurudev, or often offer the magazine like Praise of the Harmonist. And when like Praise of the Harmonist magazine, for example, then I always remember this one time when he opens every page, and he would like, his eyes would become big, and he'd say like, oh, like very nice, like this, then you can see, oh, Gurudev very happy. And actually Gurudev said, like, when you see your Guru happy, then that's how you know you're doing Guru Seva, like this. So and I remember the first book I helped with the layout was the Braj Mandal Parikrama book. And look, this is what I was talking about. Like the Goswamis, they established like Vrindavan, the glories of Vrindavan. We see Srila Gurudev is doing this way. How? One thing is he's publishing Braj Mandal Parikrama book, where he's trying to show the glories of these different places of Vrindavan, and actually inviting everyone, come to Vrindavan, like this, come to Vrindavan. And also in Vrindavan, then he's doing Braj Mandal Parikrama, where we can actually take the dust of these holy places, because Gurudev will always say, just by, there's a boon of Narad Muni that by the dust of this place, definitely Prem can come. So anyhow, Srila Gurudev, he's giving this opportunity to all his children, that we become, that we can come to Braj. And he saw another thing also, like the Goswamis established deities. There are some very special deities that Gurudev established. Like in Rup Sanatan, Gurudev established this deity of Shri Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi originally wasn't from Vrindavan, and now Vrinda Devi is in Kamyavan. But Gurudev again established one deity of Vrinda Devi, and that's in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. Gurudev also established this deity of Yamuna, where in our Durvasa temple in Mathura. But of course, Gurudev established all the time. Gurudev have relationship with Radha Vinod Bihari. We know this very special deity of our Param Guru. That's a big discussion. Also, but Gurudev established his deity Radharaman Bihari. But we know Srila Gurudev, he's like he's telling that in he always like classes, he's always encouraging us to dive deep, understanding the works of our Goswamis. So you can never separate Gurudev from like Rupa Goswami's teachings. Like when Srila Gurudev started his teaching, then he always like focused on the teachings of Rupa Goswami, like this Rasamrita, like essence of all advice. What is the essence of all advice? Oh, you live in Braj, Tistan Braje Tad Anuragi Jananugami. Live in Braj, stay with those Tad Anuragi Jan, those people who have this Anurag, who the Brijvasis. Live with them, and with them, then constantly always engage your tongue and your mind in Tanam, Rup, Charitadi, in the names, forms, and pastimes in Kirtan. So he said, this is essence of all advice. And one thing Gurudev would always, and actually this is the first class I heard from Srila Gurudev. And by that class, I thought really like, this is the real thing. He was explaining this verse, Anyabilashita Sunyam. The first class I heard from Srila Gurudev. And you know, Srila Gurudev would always want all his children to understand this verse. Sometimes some devotees may feel like, oh, this is like cliche, like again. But no, this is our life. And very important to understand this. This is the foundation of everything we do. Anyabilashita sunyam gyan karmadi anavritam anukulyena Krsna anusilanam bhakti rutama. Gurudev said, if you don't know this verse, you're not my disciple. So, yes, we have to know this verse. And we have to live this verse. This is our Rupa Goswami explaining to us. So, like this. Now, one thing we have to appreciate really is, now I'm looking at the time, Gurudev, he's only, you know, with Srila Gurudev, then we understand what is really Rupanuga. We know the speciality, okay, Mahaprabhu giving this Ragmarg. So there's Raganuga Bhakti. So Raganuga Bhakti, the love of the Ragat, following the love of the Ragatmik, the Brishbasis. Then you become Raganuga. You're trying to follow like how the Ragatmik Brishbasis are doing. That's Raganuga. So that can be in moods like Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. But when you say Rupanuga, that is like following the moods of Rupa Manjari, as taught by Rupa Goswami. So our Srila Gurudev is always emphasizing and actually making us appreciate. And this is where one of the like important things that today I hope I can establish, that Srila Gurudev has shown to us the speciality of this family of Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We know when we talk about parampara, most idea of parampara is the Diksha parampara. Like, oh, who's your Diksha Guru? Okay, by the line of the Diksha Guru, that's your parampara. But Prabhupada, our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, he said this parampara is more than just a Diksha parampara. It is where the pure conception. So when we talk about this line of Saraswati Thakur, then he's actually defining it. That there's a very big standard in this line, this family line that I'm telling you now that you are part of. And this we have to appreciate. He calls it Bhagavad Guru Parampara. And actually, like even now, not so many even among the Gaudiya speak about this. But Gurudev wants us to understand this and appreciate this. That when we talk about Bhagavad Guru Parampara, this is actually where, this is the line of Bhagavad Gurus, where the pure conception of this Gauravani, as taught by Rupa Goswami, this is actually Rupanuga, the very Rupanuga conception, where this Rupanuga conception is flowing and propagated like in a pure way. That is the Bhagavad Guru Parampara. That is the line like this. So Diksha is included there, but it does not mean that just because someone else has received Diksha from another Sampradaya, but then he follows, and later on he follows and embraces the pure conception because he got into contact with a Bhagavad Guru in this line, then he is in this parampara. So our Srila Gurudev, he is like one of this foremost preacher, and is one of these Bhagavad Gurus in this line, this family. Our Prabhupada, he wrote, he himself is one, and he pointed out, so this is where you can see this pure conception is flowing down. So from Mahaprabhu, then there's our Goswamis. After the Goswamis, after Jiva Goswami, there's Narottam, Srinivasya, Mananda. Now they're not even Diksha disciples of Jiva Goswami. We know that. Then after Narottam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is not even a Diksha disciple of Narottam. He's not even directly in like the next generation. He's like 3 generations away, like this. Then after Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Then there's Baladev Vidyabhushan, who is also not a Diksha disciple of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So it's like this. If you are, this we have to appreciate. But they all receive Diksha. Prabhupada himself, it's a wrong idea that just because we say Bhagavad Guru Parampara, we're telling no need for Diksha. No, Prabhupada himself is teaching that Diksha is needed, because when he asked Diksha from Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, and Gaura Das Babaji was rejected, it's like, no, like, you're not qualified. So then he showed, oh, then what is the purpose of my life? He wanted to commit suicide. He did all this fasting, this vrat, and so even Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to beg to Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. So he's showing Diksha is important, but this Diksha is this is by Diksha, that means there, of course, we know Diksha, two things in Diksha: Guru giving Sambandha Gyan and Guru removing all your sinful reactions, anarthas. But this can be seen externally only. The completion of Diksha, the perfection of Diksha is Shiksha. So where this pure Shiksha of this Rupanuga line is flowing, that is where really, because you may be initiated, but then if you're not following really the teachings, then really you're not in that family. So just like people, they're born in a Brahmin family, but they're living more degraded than Sudras. But then, so you can't really call them Brahmins. So our Srila Gurudev, he's one of these foremost preachers in this Bhagavad Guru Parampara. And we know our Guru Varga in this Parampara, they are Manjaris. In Krishna Lila, the Manjaris are performing the most intimate seva for Shri Radha and Krishna.
Krishna Karunya,
we know that.
Prabhu?
Yes.
I think
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
So then after that, in Mahaprabhu Lila, they're the foremost preachers in Mahaprabhu Lila. So Srila Gurudev, we can see, like our Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami, he's giving this Gauravani to the new people in the West. And now Srila Gurudev, he's continued to upgrade the consciousness of all these people, introducing them to the inner understanding of this Gaudiya. I remember, and see, really, Gurudev, in this kind of mood, sometimes it would manifest. One time, Gurudev was in Haridwar, in Rishikesh. Gurudev doing morning walk. Sometimes one time he was asking, what my favorite shloka? Like all disciples of Gurudev, like maybe, Gurudev asked one time, what is my favorite shloka? And of course, like many words they say like this. But then he said, oh, this verse, Naparayaham Nirvadu Samyajam. You know this, when Krishna said to the gopis, I cannot repay your love. Like even if I lived the life like so long, like Lord Brahma, I can never repay your love. He accepted defeat. In Bhagavad Gita, Gurudev said, Krishna promised, Yayata amam prapajante tang sataiva bhajamyam. According to how you perform bhajan, I reciprocate. But to the gopis, he said like, oh, I cannot repay your love. So Gurudev has this like this abhiman, or this identity, like the Manjaris. They always have this pride. We are Palyadasis of Radharani. How great my Swamini is. Krishna is defeated by her love, like that. And so Gurudev is also infusing this this conception within all his disciples, this mood. Then we also become like him. We desire to be like him. So I'm just gonna stop here now, spending so much time. But I want to end that Gurudev would always encourage that he said that the secret of bhakti is, he would always tell us, be strong. Many times he always tell me, be strong, like this. He gave me this saffron cloth and he said, be strong. Okay. But of course he told me, okay, what is the meaning of this cloth? Why this color? I said, this is color of Anurag. And he said, yes, it's the color of Anurag. It's the color of the love of the Vrajagopis. Also, you should remember, this is the color of, it should remind you of my love. And so like I'm clothing you with this love. And this will be your protection. So like if brahmacharis, they only think of that. Oh, this cloth is not just, you know, something like just for formality, to show I'm brahmachari like that. No, this is the love, the gopis. This is the same love that Gurudev have. And he's protecting me with this. He's clothing me with this love. He wants me to have this love also. So then you become strong. Gurudev always say, be strong. But Gurudev always say, have Guru Nishta. So Gurudev, one time he explained, what is this Guru Nishta? He said, some people, they would say, oh, I love Gurudev so much, but then I don't like this sevak, or this, you know, his servant, I don't like this. And Gurudev said, oh, that is not symptom of someone who has Guru Nishta. He said, someone who has Guru Nishta, his love is Gurudev so much that when he sees someone serving his Guru, then he becomes so indebted. Oh, he's serving my Gurudev. Oh, he's my family member. Like this. Even like a dog, or like someone like very new, he's serving his Gurudev. Then his love, because he has so much love for his Gurudev, then he becomes so indebted to that person. That is someone who has Guru Nishta, Gurudev would always say. So I'm just telling this because like there's so many things to say about Srila Gurudev. So beautiful pastimes like each one of us have. And I always remember what Param Gurudev said one time in his article. He said that when we remember all these things, how my Gurudev is loving me, is very kind to me, he said, if this will not inspire us to become like them, or to become like my Gurudev, then we have to understand that these feelings that, oh, he loves me so much, is nothing really but your desire for sense gratification. Is one manifestation of your desire for sense gratification. You're just enjoying your Guru, that feeling, oh, he loves me so much. But if you understand, oh, my Gurudev is so great because he is one-pointedly surrendered to Sri Krishna. And actually more than that, he is a Palyadasi Srimati Radharani, like this. And so then all these things, oh, if they will inspire me to become like them also, then they really, oh, this is like, this is the best. And this should inspire other people also to become like this. So I'm mentioning this, like how Gurudev is part of his Bhagavad Parampara, because one thing is we should, like sometimes when we glorify Gurudev, or sometimes some people, they glorify Swami Prabhupada, they try to glorify it and show like how is the best in the Parampara. Of course, in this time, of course, nobody can compare to your Gurudev, but we should not cut them from the Parampara. Gurudev made us appreciate, and that's why so many people come to Srila Gurudev, because Gurudev made them appreciate how their own Gurudevs are Rupanuga. Those disciples of Srila Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, by coming to Srila Gurudev, then they appreciate, oh, how Prabhupada, Swami Prabhupada is Rupanuga. Those disciples of Srila Bhakti Prabhupada Puri Goswami Maharaj, then they appreciate, oh, how my Gurudev is Rupanuga. Everyone, they see in this way, oh, they're all followers of Rupa Goswami. They see all the previous acharyas, how they are Rupanugas. Gurudev is showing to us. And this is the beauty of this family. And of course, we see how our Gurudev is Rupanuga. And we also become, we want to be Rupanugas, like this. So in this way, we don't cut Srila Gurudev from the Parampara. And like, and as I've said, this Parampara is not just by Diksha. So for us, we teach to people what Gurudev is teaching. We share to them. We preach according to what Gurudev want to be preached. That is our preaching. It's not like, oh, take Diksha from me or take Diksha from there. For us, it doesn't really matter who's your Diksha Guru or not. You follow, if your Diksha very good, you're connected to the Parampara, but then you have to show, oh, this is the teachings. If you follow, then you're very fortunate to be in this line of Mahaprabhu, of the line of Rupa Goswami. And really in this line of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, from this time of Srila Gurudev, like our Bhagavad Gurus, they will always be there. They're Sadgurus, they're eternal Gurus. And in the future generations,
Prabhu,
they will continue
we can listen to you for another hour, Prabhu, but we've run out of time.
Okay, I'm going to stop now. So thank you very much for this opportunity to glorify Srila Gurudev. And I pray to all the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, all my God brothers and God sisters. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you so much, Krishna Karunya Prabhu. I'm so sorry. It feels horrible when we have to like, someone's in their flow and then we just have to like say, actually, can you stop? It's just horrible. But I just wanted, I'm so sorry, but hopefully you'll come back and you'll share some more. And it shows that what you know, when you were working in publications for Srila Gurudev, I know that you still are, but when you were working with Srila Gurudev in publications, that how the words of Srila Gurudev in his publications, in his books and the translations, etc., have really manifested within your heart, because you're sharing that with us, and I'm really fortunate. And you really established this oneness of Srila Gurudev and our Guru Parampara, and not just limiting it to what we see in one line, you know. And you're right, in terms of its bigger picture, there's this oneness throughout the whole of our Guru Varga, and I'm just very fortunate that you highlighted that, and I'm glad you did. So thank you so much. That really came through. Thank you, brother.
Krishna Karunya, Haribol, Dandavat Pranams. It should be me apologizing because I had to stop you, but I'm going to do it with the folded hands. You told us, fold our hands so we can unite Jiva with Paramatma. That was so beautiful. And your whole explanation of Gurudev's love and appreciation for Srila Goswami. This is something I'm really hearing more and more this year. That specialism is very beautiful. And I also know how busy you are in your service with Prabhuji. And so I really thank you for taking the time out to share with us. And please give our wholehearted Dandavat Pranams to Prabhuji, who he's made such a big difference in my life. And I'm sure he's made a huge difference in probably most people's lives who are here today. So thank you so much. Please remember to convey our Dandavat Pranams to him.
Dandavat Pranams, everybody.